lastly, did you have a romantic relationship with Mr. McBride?
I wouldn't say it was a romantic relationship, but it was social. I don't know quite what word to put it in, but for a brief time, we weren't in a relationship.
Okay. Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you. And it was not. It wasn't infiltration.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Chair. I'm at the end of the affidavit.
Are you done, Advocate Mkiza? Yeah. Are you done?
Yes, Chairperson.
Ms. Trent, what is a semi-social relationship?
You didn't. You're not like. Sorry, can you put the question to me again?
What is a semi-social relationship?
So we saw each other every now and again. There was an attraction to each other, but there was no relationship that went on. But yeah, I don't really know how. Yeah, I don't know how really more to explain. But it wasn't some sort of I love you and I'll do anything for you and what do you need me to do for you kind of thing. It was what it was. Yeah.
What do you mean? You are like friends with benefits.
Are you allowed to say that on national TV?
Chairperson, I don't mean to interject while you're speaking, but I think there's new language for that. It's called situationship.
Oh, yeah, no. We are old. We speak Shakespearean English, and I can see now that globalization has happened. Do you understand what is meant by situationship, Honorable Shongwa? This is English. If you do not know that people can expand the language and create new words and concepts, screen short, screen grab, screen munch. That's what is happening. The language gets enriched. So there is situationship or semi-social relationships. Thank you. Is there
Relationship with Mr. McBride?
We had a semi-social relationship, but nothing sort of serious. There was, we met for meals, not a lot. Yeah,
So you had a relationship?
Not a relationship.
No. A semi-social relationship is what you have. I want to use your words. So with that semi-social relationship that you had, did you talk about investigations?
We spoke about what was going on, the corruption that was going on in the criminal justice system, but not necessarily. You see, Mr. McBride wasn't doing any of the investigations himself. He was the executive director, so it wouldn't have been discussing the investigations. But it was a very long time ago.
Yeah. What Mr. McBride testified is that he personally put together a task team and allowed Mr. Cedric Nkabinde to head up that task team. That task team was formed of two of the members that you spoke about, the investigators. They also formed part of that task team. It was colloquially known as the Pahlane task team.
Okay.
And he was quite involved in following the work of the progress within that task team. That's what he testified. And Mr. O'Sullivan also testified that, yes, indeed, he had complained to Mr. McBride about the slow progress into the investigation of General Pahlani. So there was some involvement at a level that is not just as a senior, but he did have his eye on specifically that investigation. He testified to that effect. Now, my question to you is, as a person who had been part of that investigation, dealing with the investigators, what did you and Mr. McBride discuss in these semi-social?
I can't remember. I can't remember. It was a very long time ago.
Okay.
So,
And what kind of meal, what time of the, I mean, what kind of meals would you meet for? Dinner, lunch, breakfast? I mean, how often did you meet? And was,
it would usually be like a last minute in Joburg or something. I can't remember.
Yeah.
I remember once a coffee somewhere in Pretoria. I remember a dinner maybe in Sandton.
would Mr. O'Sullivan accompany you to these dinners and
No,
lunches?
no, he didn't know anything about it.
Okay. What we are doing, part of the work that is being done in this, within this committee is that we are looking into infiltration at IPID. And when the question was put to you, when you were putting to, drafting your statement, that's the only paragraph that you gave. But we need to ask a bit more questions to understand, because you have already testified that you drafted statements for Mr. Uester. You prepared subpoenas on behalf of IPID.
No, I didn't say that.
You assisted.
I didn't say I prepared a
Okay.
subpoena.
You prepared statements. You did desktop work. You did desktop work.
I'm just gonna ask you to stop there.
Yeah.
I'm not happy with how you're summarizing
Okay.
what it was. I didn't
Okay.
draft a subpoena or anything, unless, I mean,
What did you draft?
on the Uester
In assisting IPID.
I don't think I did. I'm sure that there would be a record of that.
So,
But I know, because
I can
at the
assist-
time it would have,
I can assist you, Sarah.
Yes.
Here's what you testified. You testified that you assisted in drafting statements. You also testified that you did desktop research. You also testified that.
Did I say I assisted in drafting statements for IPID?
Mr. Uester was in an investigation into Sable Hills on behalf of IPID. You testified that that visit to Sable Hills was a IPID operation. You accompanied the two investigators, you and Mr. Paul O'Sullivan. If my recollection is incorrect,
I'm not,
if it's incorrect,
I'm
it's
not,
fine. You can correct it.
Yeah.
You can correct it. You can give your version.
I think I've given my version.
No, I'm just summarizing it because now we're dealing
as
with.
I understand, Mr. O'Sullivan drafted the statement of Mr. Uester and sent it to him to say, look, we've drafted based on our discussions of earlier. I mean, I don't know what it said, but I'm assuming something like that, and which is totally fine to draft a draft.
Yes. So my question, I'm not trying to trick you at all. I actually am not. What I'm doing is I'm at the last paragraph. The last paragraph, as you can see, deals with a very important part of the work we are doing in this committee.
Oh yes.
And let me maybe just to finish. So all you've given is you've just denied infiltration, and I'm asking specific questions and also reminding you of some of the evidence that you have already given. If my recollection of the evidence, I mean, it's on record, but if it's incorrect, I'm not making you, concede. You can give your version. But my recollection is that you said you assisted in drafting statements.
I would.
Perhaps you can tell us what kind of assistance you gave IPID.
We've done this already. Okay, so let me. Desktop research, file notes. If there was a person of interest that came up, I would then run that check and give it to them for them to use. And
if you can just pause there, what do you mean if a person of interest came up, you would grant them a check? What check?
If they needed to know information on someone, I as a certified fraud examiner can access a certain database. Now they're very strict. You have to have a reasonable suspicion that a crime may have taken place. So you can't say, oh, I'm going on a date with someone, can you check them out? Like, you can't do that. And then I would give that to them where there's nothing wrong with it. It's almost like, it's like a credit check. So there's nothing.
So you would conduct credit checks on,
yes,
as part of your investigations?
Yes.
And those would be on behalf of IPID?
Wouldn't say on.
Did you conduct any on behalf of IPID is the question, essentially.
Can you explain what you mean by on behalf of? Because I think
the reason I'm saying on behalf of IPID, in assisting IPID, because you couldn't have been doing the work that IPID is doing. So IPID would give you an instruction to say, as an examiner, I'm asking, I don't know.
Okay.
I'm asking you the question. The question is, how would IPID how would you execute the instructions on behalf of IPID in assisting them with the investigation work?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So there would be, I can imagine going through.
I'm asking specifically around the credit checks that you said you were conducting, because that's where we were now. Remember, the other evidence is already in. We now know that the desktops, studies, you would do research, sometimes draft statements. We are now at the point at which you would conduct credit checks. So just limit the answer to just the credit checks. How did you have to do any credit checks on the instruction of IPID? That's the question.
The request. On the request. And yes.
Okay. So you would also conduct credit checks on certain individuals.
I would download it, send it on.
Okay. And this work, was it only limited to General Patlane, or did you do other work on an ad hoc basis that they would require?
So usually in any of our investigations, we would, in our own investigation, before we'd open the docket, we would have done the searches like that as well. And for example, if I've got a client and I've done those searches as part of my investigation, I cannot give the client that information. So I'll give it directly to the police officer. Sorry, I've lost my place.
So you were giving an example of how you would basically execute a request from IPID.
So I would run it and give it to them. There's nothing wrong with it. Nothing wrong with doing that.
You mentioned Mandla Mahlangu. I think he's late. Is the late?
The late. Yeah. He was shot in the head